All righty. First of all, I hope everyone had a fabulous, great, tremendous brat summer. I know I did. It was incredible. My name is Dr. Brian Campbell. I'm originally from the budding metropolis of Delcombe, Louisiana. I was one of you guys. I took this class. I seated at that little corner spot right there, and this was pretty much my first ever A at a university. I struggled in school. As an adult, I found out I have dyslexia, I have the whole alphabet, but I really enjoy human movement. And so I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Come on in. Every day, I try to send out a little introductory email. Every day I'm going to live stream class. So in case you're sick, kiddos, bad morning. Hungover. I have the streams up on my YouTube. I posted that on Moodle, even if it's to go back and rewatch stuff. Okay, so access this class is really simple. I'm going to give you support materials. I'm going to live stream, and I teach via analogies, examples. I have, the most expensive props that a university professor can afford, but it gets the job done. So if you learn via storytelling, examples, analogies, I'm hoping that works. Even if you don't, that's okay. Just trust me here. I'm going to give you a concept. I'm going to teach and explain that concept over and over. And with these concepts, think of it as tools. You'll be able to answer thousands of different kind of questions, as opposed to memorizing thousands of different kind of questions and not really understanding the concept. Okay? So that's how we're going to roll. Hello, how are you? Coming in. All right. Let's get to this little introduction that I got. All right. So here's the Moodle page. I have the link to my YouTube, literally right at the beginning of Moodle. I'm going to wait to do the syllabus lecture as its own little standalone 10, 15-minute video because I haven't settled on things yet. Drop, add, people drop. In addition, I want to make sure if anybody knows they're going to be out of town, whether for its athletics or something else, let me know, and I can take that into account when I set the dates for our exam. So I'm going to set those dates as soon as possible, but I want to give you guys some feedback to let me know if there's any major things happening that I can arrange it from. Here is your Unit 1 materials. So between the materials, there's no textbook that you have to buy. I give you everything. Textbooks are way expensive, and they try to cram 10 different classes in one book, and you only use a few chapters, right? You know what I'm talking about? So just here, take it. And any outside resources we're okay with, but just be mindful that we're going to use verbiage in this class, or we have to be consistent with verbiage. Where we from in Vermilion Parish, you see a cat, someone may say, oh, look at the menu, right? It's a little cat. But if you don't know what a menu is, you're like, what the heck? So we have to be consistent with what we're going to call certain things so that we know we're communicating accordingly. All right, so this is an example of what's already on Moodle. So a little bit of background about me, as I hope through the semester to learn a little background about you guys. Come on in. I was an athletic training major in undergrad here. We called it sports medicine back then. Again, with my knowing now that I had dyslexia, I had to be taught like an apprentice. I had to learn by doing. I had to literally spend time being shown how to do things over and over and over before I understood. So these two individuals, Mr. John Porsche, who's retired, he's in the Louisiana Athletic Hall of Fame, and Ray Castle, who's in the NACA Hall of Fame, were very instrumental in mentoring me. In fact, the reason why I'm on time so much super duper early is because of Mr. Porsche, because if you were 15 minutes early, you were still late in his work. I know. So these guys were really instrumental in getting me to look at graduate school. I never thought I was smart enough to go to grad school, but I loved athletic training, and it was going to pay for my school. So I hopped on a plane to Kansas City, Missouri, Elkhorn, Louisiana, first time flying. They're going over the safety instructions. Everybody's sleeping. I'm like taking notes. Like, where's the safety? Flying was a big deal for me. While I'm flying to Kansas City, I'm sitting next to a gentleman, and he says, "So where are you going?" Because I had like USL back then, it's USL stuff on. I said, "Well, I'm going to a conference, an athletic trainer conference. I'm hoping to interview for graduate assistantships. I heard they're available, and I get to do what I love." And after about 10 minutes, I said, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going to interview graduate assistants at that same conference." So I just had an hour-and-a-half interview with not even realizing it. And guess who won the pony, right? That's how I got into Southern Mississippi. It wasn't because of my grades. It was because they needed people who weren't afraid to make mistakes, weren't afraid to learn from their mistakes. And it definitely wasn't because of my GPA. At Southern Mississippi, I had some really cool professors. Before I get to Southern Miss, I want to talk about the professor that was really, really important. He's not doing well right now. So I wanted to kind of recognize Dr. George. Dr. George taught this class for decades. He taught me when I was right there, and he's in the U.S. Gymnastics Hall of Fame. Great dude. Very good teacher. I could only aspire to be as good as a teacher he is, and he was. But George also encouraged me to go into biomechanics, because I told him, I was like, "Dr. George, I struggle in all my classes except for this class." He's like, "Well, maybe that's what you bring this me for." And so I went to Southern Mississippi, and I majored in exercise physiology. And these were two of my mentors there. Dr. Ronnie Evans, who was fresh out of school at Auburn. He was, what I learned best about, sometimes the best influences you have in your life are the worst influences you had in your life. And that's, as a teacher, you say, I know not to do that, right? I'm just speaking from a teacher. Evans was the opposite, man. Evans, fresh out of school, could have had a huge ego, and he was the first professor I ever had that would just, in all earnesty, say, "I don't know." Like if someone asks a question, he'd be like, "I don't know, but I'm going to look into it and I'll get back with you." And like, that's pretty, like, whoa, I thought these people knew everything, right? And we don't. So if you ask a question, I want you to ask questions, but if I don't know, I'll tell you. And I'll say, I'll get back with you with an answer. Another guy that was very beneficial while I was at Southern Miss was Dr. Webster. Both of these guys came from Auburn University. They did their PhDs at Auburn. And so I was like, well, that school must be good for exercise science and biomechanics. Come on in, you guys. Welcome. And once again, guys, one of the things I'm going to teach you is not just human movement. I'm not just going to teach you some really cool functional anatomy stuff and mechanics. I'm going to try to work in some life lessons to help you guys get to where you want to get. And one of the lessons that I learned from this level up is it's not what you know. And guys, it's not who you know. I know Michael Jordan, but he don't know me, so it's not going to give me anything. It's who knows you. So they were encouraging me to go to Auburn. Once again, my grades weren't that great. I had great ideas, but my GPA, my GRE, athletic training. So there was an assistantship at Auburn for, it's called the Kenny Howard Fellowship in Athletic Training. And so my head athletic trainer at Southern Miss, anybody from Mississippi? Okay. 2 years there, I speak Mississippi now, so I can understand that dialect. But he was like, "Ryan, I got a buddy, you got to give him a call." I'm like, "Okay, Matt, I'll give him a call." And so I call this random person, good morning. And she picks up the phone and she says, "Yes, this is." And before she even asked the question, she said, "Where are you from?" And I was like, now remember, she's in Alabama, middle of central Alabama. I said, I'm from Louisiana. And she said, well, where are you from in Louisiana? Oh, South Louisiana. She was like, what town are you from? And I was like, oh, you wouldn't know it. It's called Delco, Louisiana. And she said, I'm from St. Martinville. Just never know. Guess who won the pony? So again, it wasn't about GPA. It wasn't about GRE. It was about, is this person going to come to work? Are they going to be on time? Are they going to put hands on people? Are they going to be afraid to get in there and help people? And we'll worry about the school stuff. But when I got accepted into Auburn, it was through that athletic training fellowship. And then that's in classes is when I met these two individuals. Dr. Wendy Weimer is the godmother of my firstborn, and she was my major professor while I was at Auburn. The most patient person, which you need to be when you're working with me. She's a former high school physics teacher, but tremendous influence. And then this guy right here, Dr. Nels Madsen, he's retired, mechanical engineer. Madsen, his 3D motion capture software and like his mind is what brought Lord of the Rings to life. Like the dude won an Academy Award for his motion capture. You know, the motion capture puts a little more. Smartest human being I've ever been. It's so smart that like it would be awkward. He knew it was awkward, so he would just be very normal and very real. But then you're just like, are you trying to trick me? It's like, you're smart. And my favorite, well, I have a lot of fun Madsen stories, but he would ride a bicycle every day to school. Like, think Wizard of Oz, like basket in the front, dun, 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 just rode a basket every day. He was Madsen. And he was like, hey, Brian, me and some of my colleagues play a little basketball in the lunchtime, and I heard you might have played a little basketball back in the day. Would you like to come, play with the old guys? And I was like, oh, gosh. I don't want to, hurt these guys' feelings. I was in my 20s, and I was like, sure, Dr. Madsen, I'll come. Great. Like, he reminds me of like Flanders from Simpsons, right? Like, hiddly ho, neighbor. Don't judge a book. Start playing. He's like, why don't you guard me, Brian? First possession, posts up, gets ball, elbows me to my neck, drop backs, lays it up, and then proceeds to like run like this behind you. Like, good try, Brian. What just happened? Brilliant teacher. The reason I'm bringing him up is because the stuff we are going to learn in here, yes, it's human movement, but a lot of it is based off of engineering principles. The door moving about the wall, an engineer designed that and made that. A lot of times, though, the engineering side, and it goes both ways. The engineers have a tough time with human movement because in their world, the door always moves about the wall. And that's it. The wall never moves about the door. Like imagine if I had a dollhouse. I could open the door like this, but I could technically also open the door like this, right? I could move the house about the door. Engineers never have to worry about that stuff. But in human movements, we can move the door about the wall, but we can also move the wall about the door. And it's weird. An engineer says, look to your left, it's called left transverse cervical rotation. They got it, no problem. But sometimes we can look to the left and have the exact same movement, but it doesn't look the same. From here to there is the exact same motion as from here to there. I'm going to teach you these things. I'm going to teach you how to look for the clues into establishing whether there was motion. It looks like it's moving, and it is. That's the easy one. That's the one you guys have been introduced to. But there's more complicated stuff. It looks like it's moving, but it's not. Or it looks like it's not moving, and it is. That's the stuff that the engineers were just like, okay? But we also kind of we're desensitized to some things too. Meaning you can't practice as an engineer without having a degree in engineering, right? Or you can't practice law without being a lawyer. But we practice human movement our whole lives. Who were your coaches when you were kids? Your parents? Mine was. You think my dad knew anything about biomechanics or human motion? Of course not. And that's okay. That's not why they did it. The point is that we have a lot of bad habits that are etched into our brain from practicing human movement our entire lifetimes. And part of my job is to be a therapist to retrain your brain to see certain things that we just Pavlovian been accustomed to. Okay? So I guess my point is, do not assume. Do not assume. Sorry for being weird. I am weird. It will happen again. That is the truth. So, let me get started on a couple things. This is from past students. That's in your this is in your already on Moodle. But like I give you an example. Like when we were kids, right? Like your parents, your guardians, your brothers, your sisters, they might say something like, when you're a kid, flex your muscles, right? And it gets into our brains that muscles flex. I'm just giving you an example. Muscles themselves can contract, right? Concentric, joints flex, joints extend. Now, is it an arrestable offense? Of course not. It's just an example of how sometimes this verbiage gets confusing to us unless we kind of filter it out. And as Dr. George used to say, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. These are some of the former students that I had that helped me add to this document. They did QR code examples and really, really, really cool. So let's see, Miriam's in PT, Sydney's in PT school, Miriam's OT school, Seth's in PT school, and I think Brianne's going to be a physician assistant. So to my point, you guys, what does a lawyer or a teacher, I just needed a couple examples, like what do they look like? It could be anybody. Someone tall, short, young, old. Now you don't have like a vision of what certain professions look like. And the vision of what they look like has no bearing on what they know. True. But when we get into kinesiology sometimes, like we think about like what a personal trainer, what a person who does fitness, exercise might look like. Like in other words, if we had a lineup and said, pick out the KNES major. And so just like we wouldn't look at a type for that, we wouldn't do that for personal trainers as well. The conflict of interest sometimes in learning this material is that applying your knowledge to different groups. I know you may know what works for you. Can you apply knowledge to an adolescent who has different growth plate issues and they have a whole different set? Older populations have different rules. There's some things you indicated. And in addition, just like you can't practice law without passing the bar exam, or in athletic training, we have the NATA exam. Like we have a standardized testing body. Heck, for coaches and personal trainers, I mean, there's thousands of certifications. There's not one governing body. I mean, and they all sound alike. And my parents don't know the difference between the American College of Sports Medicine and the American College of Sports Institute. I mean, they all kind of sound alike. Okay? So this isn't for all of you, this is for some of you. Every year, there are students that come into this class without an open mind, and they're like, I already know this stuff. I've been doing this my whole life. I'm a certified personal trainer. That's awesome. That's awesome. All I'm saying is open your mind to especially illusions of motion. And we're just going to make you a better person. We're going to make you a better future allied health professional. We're going to make you better. Okay? So I'm explaining how a lot of times there could be a lot of confusion of verbiage. Because think about it, if you had hundreds of different ways to practice law, wouldn't there be some confusions on processes? Well, this one says we should do this, and that one's, it's one governing body. But not in fit. I have some little sayings to hopefully help you guys in class. We just cannot assume. Now, do not assume doesn't mean don't overthink, but it's just we can't assume. There's going to be a lot of times there's going to be motions and things we do that just seem obvious. But I always want you to take a deep breath and not assume. We can infer, but we don't assume. A lot of these points we're going to kind of go over as the class comes about. And finally, yes, Gandalf. Lord of the Rings starts this week. So Gandalf says you can pass. I got some tips from former students. I'll let you guys read that. A lot of times, students wait. You just wait, not you, but you wait too late to cram. And when you cram for this kind of stuff, that's when stuff gets really, really confusing. I mean, guys, we have motions. Anybody have a twin? Any twins up there? Twins in your family? Man, people have to know a twin. Growing up, we had twins. They looked nothing alike. So they were fraternal. But their names were Heath and Keith. So their names sounded. So they looked nothing alike, but their names. So we would, as growing up, you'd flip their names, but it wasn't because they looked alike, it's because it sounded alike. Guys, we can have a lot of motions that sound alike. Heck, we got a lot of motions that flex and extend. So we got to have knee flexion, hip flexion, elbow flexion, wrist flexion. And then you have like left transverse cervical, right transverse cervical. I'm going to teach you about left transverse pelvic girdle rotations and right transverse pelvic girdle rotations. And then just a lot of verbal vomit that I can see if it's like, all right, the exam's on Wednesday, Tuesday night, game on. I could see how it would be confusing. So as my major professor used to tell me, let's eat the apple in little bites so that we don't choke on the apple when we're trying to take it all in at the last minute. Okay? All right, I want to get up a couple points. One of the reasons this stuff can be confusing is we're so used to like straight line world concepts, up, down, left, right, front, back. Does this very well. But if we have something like a structure like a superior vena cava, right? The big vein that's on the top part that's kind of feeding the heart from the top, and you have the inferior from the bottom. Tops and bottoms. Superior more on top, inferior more on bottom, right? What happens if we flip the heart? Like we took a sample heart, we put it upside down. That doesn't make this become the inferior. Right? Like I know that sounds silly, but sometimes students struggle with, well, wait, I thought flexion was when your hand goes forward. Well, what if you keep flexing and your hand going to start to go back? Or I thought the thumb was lateral. Yeah, but if I pronate, I can make my thumb be medial. That doesn't mean my thumb isn't still lateral. That's like saying I'm from the East Coast, born and raised in Florida, but I went visit California. Does that mean I'm from California? I'm just visiting. Like the thumb's just visiting the medial part of my arm, but it's still a lateral structure. Things like that. Unfortunately, we don't live in robot world. Like we live in, the Shrimp Festival just happened, man. People moving, looking like they were auditioning for the Australian breakdance team. It's a movement can be complex and can be confusing. I'm going to teach you how to filter all that stuff out, to analyze motion that may seem complex, but I promise you, we're going to make it simple. We're going to make it simple. Trust the process. Gosh, I'm so glad it's with Halsey. So these are 2 examples that I just gave. More examples is we like to apply everything to straight line world. That's comforting to us. But we live in a world of spin. We live in a world of rotations. And rotational world has some slightly different verbiages and rules than straight line world. Okay? So in other words, translation, up, down, left, right. So like she's going down and then she comes up. But let's look at her shoulder. I'm just giving you examples. Let's look at her shoulders. On the test, I might say, did her shoulders, the shoulder joints itself, did they rotate? Did they move? A student who's just looking at everything just as is, like a black and white view of the world, would say, well, no, her shoulders didn't move because I literally didn't see the humerus go anywhere. But what I'm going to teach you is absolutely her shoulders moved. Because look at the position she was in to start, and then look at the position she was in at the end, and if she didn't move her shoulders, if she came back up, her shoulders would be here. She had to have shoulder motion to get to that new position. Most of the time, when we play a board game, we move the small piece about the big board. But technically, again, that's an engineer thing. But technically, I can still move the same way by moving the board about the small piece. That's what I'm getting to, okay? Awesome. All right, you guys. So this class is going to be knowledge-based, very objective. I don't want to read projects. I don't want to waste your time with flow. I want to teach you some concepts that you're going to be able to have and use for the rest of your life. I want to give you your money's worth. Okay? It's true. I don't want it to be like another class where like you're done with your final and then 3 weeks later you're like, I don't even know any of that stuff. Okay? Everybody deals with human motion. That's the positive. But the negative is everybody deals with human motion. So again, you get playing fast and loose with verbs. We're going to have 4 exams. I'm going to protect my A's and I'm going to protect my B's. Meaning, you're going to earn your A and you're going to earn your B. C's, I'm here to help. And the reason I have to do this is because they won't let me give you a D. You've got to make a C in these classes. That doesn't mean I'm going to give you a C, but I'm definitely going to make it, you know, this isn't everybody's cup of tea. I get it. There were some classes that I took and literally it sounded like from Charlie Brown, like womp, 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 womp. I didn't know what in the world was going on. So I get it. What I'd like to think, though, is that we're all KNES majors, human movement studies. I would think that you would have an interest in human movement, okay? But on the syllabus, once I kind of finalize the dates of the exams and everything, I'm literally going to say, pass your final and pass one of the other 3 tests, I'll pass you. So you still have to earn it, but we all have a bad day. And I could see how if this just isn't your cup of tea, that, you know, you may have to work a little harder than everybody else. But the key thing is work. I'll give you an example of what to do and what not to do. You come into my office to go over your test. I see that you made a 20 out of 100. It's usually 5 answer multiple choice. Guys, Fluffy, my cat, can make a 20 out of 100. You come in to go over your test. I'm going to immediately start asking you questions. Not an intimidation. I need to assess where you're at. So I may ask you like a simple question, like, well, what are the different types of bones? Open-ended, just tell me something from the notes. And if you just sit there converting oxygen into carbon dioxide, that answers my question very quickly. Just didn't put in the effort. But if you show me you know some things, we got long, short, and flat and irregular. I just have a tough time kind of remembering which one. At least that shows me you put a little skin in the game. At least that shows me that you're trying. Does that make sense? Those students who I can tell immediately are trying, but just sometimes it's just not clicking, I'll give you all the time in the world, or at least the time that I have. It's the ones that come in that have never even looked at this stuff and are trying to make me think that they're putting in effort. Guys, I've been doing this a long time, coming on 20 years. I can tell. Back in my day, shakes fisted cloud. Okay? Does that make sense? So 4 exams, A's, earn it, B's, earn it, C's, you're gonna earn it. But I'm just gonna be a little bit more understanding that this kind of stuff isn't everybody's wheelhouse, right? Any questions for me? Because I think let me see if Miss Carol's coming up. Any questions for me? Feedback, like again, one of the reasons I don't do my syllabus right now is I want feedback. Yes, ma'am.
Whenever I opened the app that tells me like where the class is and like the room number, it says that I was at 132B.
Yeah,
right?
That's not a me thing, but I did find out why it did that. So one of the things we have to do, sometimes we kind of have to get creative to allow us to have so many students in class. Because if we didn't do hybrid, a lot of you wouldn't be here. So I'm trying to do what I can to get as many students to take this class as we can, because I know time is of the essence. And one of the technical things is you can't assign a room number. It is way over my head. I know biomechanics, so I know tech stuff. But there was something about with it being hybrid and multiple sections, there was miscommunication. In the email that I sent you guys this morning, I thought, anybody see their email from this morning? I thought I put in the room number on there. I'm also going to add it to the syllabus, but this is where we're going to meet Monday, Wednesday, Fridays for the class.
I'm just not on the Google page either, or getting emails.
Let's find out after. Yeah, and so we'll anything IT tech, like I'm like, but we'll get the people that know what's up to help you out. Awesome. Utilize the live streams. Utilize the analogies. I have old lectures on my YouTube. You could go back. Some of my former students, they say they'll go back and rewatch some different lectures and different examples. And again, my biggest piece of advice is learn a concept that I teach you. I use analogies for, come on, Ms. Carol. Think of it like this. If you say, has there ever been a textbook that technically had...
Hey, John.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm walking in.
All right, Ms. Carol. Glad to see you here. We'll see you shortly. I chase butterflies, guys. And so when someone comes in, hey, I got to really focus. There is no textbook that I'm aware of that has the following problem. 5 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6 plus 7 minus 3 plus 2 plus 8 plus 5, da 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 da. Nowhere. But you know how to add and subtract so you can figure it out. You see what I'm trying to tell you? You know, like if you understand the rules that I'm going to teach you, you can apply that to any question that comes up in any of your various career fields. Ms. Carol Trosclair is going to come introduce herself. I lost her son, David. Anybody ever hear of the David Trosclair Memorial Scholarship in kinesiology? If you don't, you're about to. There's money for you. And David was my first. David made the first ever 100 on one of my tests, and we were cool. He was part of the KNES KPA, Kinesiology Professional Association, when I was a faculty advisor there, and we did tons of charity work together. And he was just a really good dude. And he passed away in his sleep. And so when I met with the family to tell them, brag about how good of a student and person he was, I asked them if we could start a scholarship for him. So Ms. Carroll's going to come and tell you guys about it. Again, there's money for KNES majors, and she's also going to invite you to talk a minute. But she also likes to talk. Sorry, I'm going to see you for a second. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. I got them all warmed up for you. I told them my Brad Summerjoe warmed them up. They're all good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, scholarship needy students of all levels. Ms. Carol Foster is going to talk to you about scholarship. Ms. Carol, thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you. When Doug asked me if I wanted to come talk to you, I said, yes, because not only did I want to talk to you, but I want to meet y'all. Every year, I'm just so excited because there's a whole group of students. So we have a fundraiser called Vacationing for Scholarships. Do y'all know, anybody know about that?
I got you, Ms. Carol. I'm going to pull up.
Okay. So what we do is, so my son, David Crossclair, accidentally passed away while a senior majoring in kinesiology. Of 1,000 students, David was the top student. So UL established a scholarship to acknowledge his academic achievements and to carry on his legacy. They asked me if they could establish a scholarship, and I said, yes. Y'all are grandkids. Because I don't exercise.
You're in the right room.
David would say, Mom, you need exercise. I said, you're right, son, I do. So I just did something I never thought I'd do. I joined the gym, and I thought, David, because you're so proud of me. So we have this scholarship called Vacationing for Scholarships. What we raise, we give. We give now, because y'all need it now. So what you do, there's a $10 ticket. This ticket's $10, and you take it to any one of 6 places, and you get something free. So we have Vacationing for Scholarships. You're entering to win a vacation for 2 from the local business travel machine. And then as a thank you gift from me and you kinesiology students, if you take that ticket to any one of 6 places, you'll get something free. So have you ever heard of a fundraiser where you get back more than you give?
Not a discount, like legit.
So
free.
if you take the ticket in September to Todd's Car Wash, it's a free $30 turbo wash. In September, you can take it to Judy's Inn, get a free hamburger or cheeseburger of your choice. October, free drip coffee or any tea and any pastry in their counter. October, a free flatbread, side and drink from Tropical Smoothie. November, free plain stuffed potato and drink at the potato place. And Great Harvest, a free loaf of bread of your choice. So every ticket is a winner. You're supporting scholarships, and you're entering a chance to win a vacation for 2. And it's like win-win.
It also helped from a mentor standpoint. It helps in communication. What I mean by that is, I know that we're less and less dependent on verbal interactions as we are now with cell phones. In fact, like, I love the meme, like, this could have been a text, But there's opportunity there for those of you that do want to engage in verbal conversation. And so the fundraiser is set up to make the reward too good to be true, where it makes it easier for you to talk to your friends, your family, your coworkers, because literally they're getting more than what they're given the scholarship. So that's also why we set it up.
And that's a good point, because you don't have to sell them yourself. You can get your mama, your aunt, your grandmother. We have a student that got a scholarship. Her grandfather sells 10 books of tickets every year to his friends, just to pay it forward for y'all. So you don't have to sell them yourself, just get somebody to sell them for you.
And what Miss Carol and her team raises, literally y'all give away. Like, there's no like, well, you're gonna raise money now for the students that are here 10 years from now. No, you raise it now,
For yourself.
you get it now.
Right. So I want to tell you about the fundraiser. My name is on the ticket, so feel free to call me for any reason. I like calls, so just don't bother calling me. But I'm also here to ask for your help. This coming Wednesday, we're having a kickoff at the event room at Corner Bar. Corner Bar is behind Draco's in the same parking lot as the Grand 16 Theater. So we're having a kickoff. I asked one of my friends if she would help me, and she said, no. I said, you won't help me? She said, no, I want to talk to students. I said, well, can you help me and talk to students? So I need y'all to come so she has somebody to talk to. But the kickoff is, we're anybody that buys a book of tickets, we're giving them a free gift, just a free gift for coming. So if you come, you'll get 2 free gifts. And then if you buy it, whoever buys a book of tickets, they get entered to win prizes. I got all kind of wonderful prizes.
She goes all out.
So at 5:30, we're cutting the ribbon. The TV's going to be there. I have a world famous photographer, Astor Morgan, who is going to come take pictures. And he's my friend. And I said, Astor, I can't afford you. Could you please come take pictures of my friends for free? He said, for you, for kinesiology students, I'll do it for free. So come. And 2, if you don't come, I want y'all to take a group picture. I love these group pictures.
And we'll be there. Most of the faculty will be there. The new director will be there. The new dean will be there. So great chance to network with your new teachers.
I want to say, come meet the new dean and the new department head. And when I say my friends want to talk to you, please talk to them. Just say, hi, I'm so-and-so. Thank you for supporting scholarships. All you have to do is just thank you for coming to support scholarships. And they'll say, oh, are you in kinesiology? And they'll start you in a conversation. So I just ask, help me sell tickets. We're gonna, anybody that's in a student club is eligible to win these scholarships. We give the largest scholarships on campus. Every year, everyone that qualifies receives a scholarship. We haven't had to turn anybody away. The more money I raise, the more I give. So the more we raise, the bigger your scholarship is. So and if you're in a club, you're eligible to win. You have to, I guess, sell maybe 1 book of tickets or so.
Yeah, I think it's the 1 book of tickets might be to be active in their club. So like that's their requirements to be active in the majors club. So like they decide what being active is.
But if you want to sell 100 books, all the better, because the more we raise, the more we give. So thank you so much. I hope you can come Wednesday, take a picture with me, take a picture with each other, get on TV. The TV crew's gonna put you on TV. We cut the ribbon at 5:30, and it's from 5:30 to, free food, free drinks.
Donut holes.
We got all kind of pizza, jambalaya. Zia's is donating, Mendez is donating food, so we got a cake, and we got lots of food and drinks and visiting and
Ms.
fellowship.
Carol, we've been doing this for over a decade now, right? Rough estimate, you think you've brought in $250,000 easy?
Oh, yeah, and giving it away.
For you guys.
So we got money to give, so come support us.
$250,000.
Oh, yeah.
What I'll do, Ms. Carol, if you don't mind, hang around after. Maybe some students want to say hi and see you. Ms. Carol loves photos and promotion of her son's scholarship, and she just loves, guys, you are her children. I'm serious. Like, think about how many former students we have that are like if Caleb West came in right now.
Oh my gosh. Yes, and everybody that gets David's scholarship gets into that next school, that next.
It's good karma.
It's
good karma.
That other school you have to go to because you're a David Trostler scholar. It sounds good on the resume. Would you take a picture of us?
Of course.
Speaking, I'm going to post.
I don't know why.
Facebook.
Like I just went back into puberty right there.
Of
course.
I'm gonna post this on Facebook. I'll go get in the back.
Yes, ma'am. All right, you guys. Humor an old biomechanics professor. Can we have right side, left side? Let's all come in and take a nice first day of school photo with Miss Carol. All right, you guys. That'll be the stream for today. We'll see you Wednesday. Miss Carol, I like your new